Hi everyone, it's Generation Z, and today we're gonna talk with Yaroslav
Hi.
and Karina.
Hello.
It's always very happy to have them on Generation Z. And the 21st century is reaching its second decade, and today we're gonna talk about the very important problem of it, which is climate change. Why we're going to talk about it? Because recently a huge waterfall on the border of Zimbabwe and Zambia called Victoria Falls has just dried out. And this parched waterfall is perhaps the most visible effect of the drought that is hammering this region. However, this waterfall was not the most devastating problem of the region, because the World Food Programme says that more than 7 million people in Zimbabwe alone are going hungry. And in general, guys, I want to ask you, because the changes in climate and temperature especially are astonishing. So do you agree, guys, and why?
World biggest problem, not wars, not economic problems, it's climate change. And actually, like in 2019, we all already can feel that. And I feel like that's really scary. And I feel like we immediately have to start doing something and not only talking, not only like making protests and writing posts on Instagram about climate change, but actually we have to start doing something.
And Corinne?
Yes, I totally agree. For example, today it's plus 10. Tomorrow it will be minus 10. All of the diseases are waking up. People are sneezing. People are coughing. We have like epidemic alarming. So it's really really
that's
bad.
really scary, and I don't know. Yeah, it's really important to discuss and do something.
So what's in your opinion now is the most dangerous problem considering climate change?
For me personally, it's rising temperatures. As Karina said, like, for example, right now in Warsaw, we have plus 10 degrees. And for 1 second, it's 18th of December.
True.
I feel like it's not okay. And to be honest, I'm so mad at people who are making Insta stories and saying like, oh my God, the weather is so cool. It feels like spring.
Yes.
It's not. It's Christmas in 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, and it's not okay. It's not okay that right now I don't want to wear my winter coat because it's too hot. Like, we're not living in LA or in Miami. Like in Warsaw, like in Eastern Europe, it has to be like cold at this time of the year. So I feel like if in this time we have plus 10 degrees in December, I can't even imagine what it's going to be like in 10 years. What in December we're going to have like plus 20 or something. And I'm saying that because all the scientists proved that last year's rising of temperature started to be even more fast. So it means that like every year global temperature rise for like 0.5 or even 1 degree. And I feel like it's really dangerous. Like every year we have the warmest winter and the hottest summer.
Yeah, it's
every
true. Because
year.
today in the morning I read that the scientists said that this December is by far the hottest one ever.
Yeah. So I feel like for me personally, it's the scariest scenario because, okay, for example, like for our region, maybe it's not as dangerous as, for example, for African countries, who in summer have like 50 degrees. Like, it's not okay to live in that conditions. And like every year when global temperature is getting higher, it's getting warmer. Like, I feel like in most part of the world, like in 20 years, it won't be possible to live because of this temperature. So I feel like it's really dangerous, and I'm quite scared about that.
So, some scientific feedback for all of your words. For example, global sea levels are rising by 3.5 millimeters, which is really, really bad. As a result, we have glaciers in Montana Park. They are decreasing, they are melting. We used to have more than 150 glaciers, and now we have just 30 and less and less. As a result, we won't have drinking water in 20 years.
All over the world?
Yes, all over the world.
Oh, nice perspective.
Yes. Also, scientists are finding hidden climate time bombs. As you know, carbon dioxide and etc., greenhouse emissions. The ocean holds the most of the carbon dioxide emissions. As a result, it gets even warmer from the ocean. So
I'm also really concerned about the ozone layer because the holes in the ozone layer are super dangerous. Like, people are already suffering
and
cancer.
Plus, like, the water holds it as well as the air, as the air, and it's getting warmer even faster.
Yeah, can I also add about like oceans, because I was reading really like interesting but at the same time scary article in BBC that like we're not really talking about that, but scientists mentioned that like a lot of ocean organisms are dying because our global ocean loses its oxygen percentage. So it means that like most of the fish and just like whales, dolphins, and everyone, they can't breathe in the water. So that's why like I feel like it's really dangerous because of course first like our first like how to say that like oxygen giver for our planet is our ocean. Second is forest.
It's not the producer, it holds the emission. So
yeah, but
it collects it.
Yeah,
it's like
it
it's
collects
screwed up.
and
It's
like
so scary.
Yeah, it's really scary, and especially like for example forests that produce this oxygen.
Yes.
Like
it burns. We don't have.
Yes, Siberian forest, Amazon forest.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm just like I'm looking at that and I can't understand.
You want to do something, right?
why people are so like they just don't care. Of course we all are talking about that. Of course we're like posting Instagram stories, but like actually everyone posted Instagram story and like in 5 minutes they just continue to produce trash, produce waste. They just like they don't understand how important is that, how important is to start doing something.
But I guess it's because we don't feel the consequences yet to that extent, but our children, or probably our grandchildren, will
I feel like
feel
our
it.
children, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a disaster.
Water. Yeah,
like in 100 years, I feel like our children will leave, and it's gonna be a hell, literally.
Yeah, about people who care. What's your opinion on Greta Thunberg?
Well, I'm a big fan of Greta Thunberg, and of course you heard that Greta Thunberg, actually Swedish schoolgirl, was named Times Person of the Year, Person of 2019. And she is 16 years old, youngest person of the year. And I feel like it's really important that Time made this decision and called her Person of the Year, because right now most of people are talking about her, and because of her we really understand all the consequences and all the importance of doing something with climate change. But of course, like I'm not saying that she is perfect. I'm not saying that she is like role model whom we have to follow. Not, of course not.
Why?
And I was reading
She's
a lot
so
of
radical.
different articles about like that Greta is a big project, that actually she doesn't do anything important. She just talks about that. She just like she's attending all of that climate change conferences, all of the climate strikes, but actually she's only talking. She's only like talking about how bad it is, but actually she doesn't do anything. And I agree.
She can't do anything. She's 16.
Yeah, I understand that, but like I agree and don't agree with that at the same time, because actually, of course, I was shocked a lot about like maybe that she's not flying. She says that like planes produce a lot of emissions, so that's why she only travels by
boat, like she sails through the Atlantic.
Yeah, by boats and
we
trains.
We can offer her like dry jet. Maybe
yeah,
for
but
work.
like I heard that like she spent more than 30,000 euros for crossing, or not even southern. I feel like she spent like huge amount of euros to travel through Atlantic by this like eco-friendly boat. But actually, she could just buy a ticket to a plane and spend like buy a ticket for 1,000 euros, and spend like that 29,000 for doing something with climate change. And like all of that aspects, maybe you also heard about like her last scandal when she posted a picture on Twitter that she was on Instagram, sorry.
In a train?
Yeah, that she was in the train, and after that, like German trail company, they post a tweet that like, Greta, why didn't you say that you was traveling first class?
Yeah, she said like, thank you for your service. It was very good. Like, girl, come on, you were traveling in first class. Of course, the service was good.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, she spent a lot of money, so it's her disadvantages. Yeah, of course, but like, I would say that anyway. It's cool that right now we have such a phenomenon as Greta Thunberg. Because of her, we are talking about that. Because of her, we are educating about that. We are reading about that. And also, it doesn't matter or she like do anything like in real to stop climate change or not. She speaks about that. She speaks with global leaders. She speaks on the biggest conferences in the world. And because of her, we seriously started to talk about that. Because I just remember that actually like a year ago, we all even didn't know about like Greta Thunberg, right? And
she just appeared.
Yeah, and most of the people, they even didn't know about like climate strikes, about like students.
People still don't believe that climate change is happening.
Yeah. So I feel like it's cool that that right now we have such a phenomenon. But also, I just want to add that we all need to understand that Times Person of the Year, it's not something good. It doesn't mean that you are like the best person, that you are the most like positive person. No, because maybe you know that like Times Person of the Year also were Hitler and Stalin. Times Person of the Year, this award means that you did something to make people following you.
Yeah, an impression.
And Greta did huge impression, so I can say that she actually was Person of the Year and is Person of 2019. Yeah.
Okay, and Karim, what's your opinion on Greta? Because I have very controversial thoughts about her.
Yes, I don't know. I feel like she spreads really, really fake impression of like doing something. I feel like really she's somebody's project and she just talks. I don't feel like I mean she will make a difference. She will like spread some information among like people who are younger, among children, but I don't think that people who are bigger than her, that they will listen to her words. And she presents herself like so radical. To some people, she just looks like a joke, especially knowing the fact that she has some form of autism, which is not a problem, obviously, but some people are hypocritical, and it's like makes her
that she
face.
Needs to go to the hospital.
Yeah, that she needs to go to the mental hospital, or so. I don't think it will end well.
I'm curious how many people are working in her, because obviously she can't organize all of that trips across western part of the world, all of that participation conferences, travels by herself.
But I feel like she started on her own something, but then she got noticed, and like now many people work with her.
Yeah,
she's just a figure. She's just a public figure. I don't feel like she's like a legit influencer. I don't feel like she can like really make a difference.
But guys, don't you agree that anyway it's nice to have such a role model?
Such a topic to talk about.
Yeah, because like anyway it's better than talking about Trump's news about building the wall, through Mexican border, of course.
Here is one thing that I find very controversial about Greta, is her speeches. Like, she repeats every single speech every single time. Like, the concept is the same. And she constantly repeats, I had to go to school rather than being here right now. And I'm like, okay, like, you said that already. Don't repeat it all over and over and over again. She kind of provokes people who already don't like her to throw at her like, child, you have to go to school. And I have a question. How can a person be so emotional every single time she says the same thing? Absolutely. Like, how true this is.
I feel like it's her disease, to be honest.
Considering, her mental condition.
Because like, I was reading about that like syndrome, and
Autism?
no, because she has really like specific
One?
yeah,
Okay.
specific one, and like it's said that like such people, of course, they are super normal. They can educate themselves. They can get like higher university degrees and everything. They're like the same people as
Yeah,
we.
but they're hypersensitive.
Yeah, and they're like concentrated on specific topics and can't read of them. Like they only think about that. So I feel like because she's only 16 years old, she got this like climate topic so seriously that it's actually the only thing she cares about, you know? So that's why I feel like she truly is so into like her speeches. It's so into like all of this situation, all of this climate crisis, that she literally can cry every time when she speaks about that. And I can't say that like it's normal or not, but it's just like a fact, and we have to understand that she's not like, you know, super healthy person in mental way. So that's why maybe I don't know, we just need to appreciate it somehow, I feel.
Yeah, but generally, yes, I think she's pretty positive character. At least she draws attention to a very serious problem nowadays. And after her appearance in the press and in the world, in the media world, a lot of people who didn't think about climate change now started reading about it. And if not following the climate changes, they started following her actions at least. And the last question is, in your opinion, what's the first thing that should be done to prevent at least something in climate change by authorities or by citizens? By whoever?
Well, of course, we all know about Paris Climate Agreement, and most of the world countries are participating in this climate agreement, except, of course, USA, who is planning to leave.
And we had a podcast about it. Go listen.
Yeah, but we all were discussing that actually this agreement exists, but there's absolutely no, like, if country is not following Paris Climate Agreement rules, anyone can do anything. Like, there is absolutely no, how to say that, like, if you're not following the rules, anything happens. So I feel like all countries need to seriously work on this agreement and start following it now. Stop these global huge factories who are producing such a big amount of like CO2 emissions. Start allowing, I don't know, ecological electric cars be more affordable to people, you know, and just start segregating the trash, because it's really important. And I feel like because you know what, I feel like, of course, it's cool that we all, you know, don't want to use plastic straws, don't want to use plastic couples and everything. Of course, it's really important. And if everyone want to do something and they start, like, you know, doing something, start buying like these shoppers and everything, of course, it's cool. But the biggest emissions are produced by huge factories, and only government can, like, limit these factors, you know? So I feel like our leaders have to start doing something. Our leaders have to start following the rules. And if we're going to follow the rules, of course, everything is going to change.
And Corinne, what do you think?
I think that difference will be made just one by one. I feel like every and each person should educate himself or herself just to prevent some situations. For example, you should watch your usage of plastic and etc. You should make proper choices in order to make difference. This is my opinion. And then, I mean, government works for you. Like in the perfect world, government works for you, and you're in order of government. And if you will make good choices, they will make good choices as well. This is my opinion.
Thank you so much, guys, for listening to Generations at this year. And we'll hear from you soon, and you'll hear from us soon in the next year. At least I hope so. So we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and kisses, and stay tuned.